Hey, well, welcome. Hey, Joe. I didn't get a chance to say hi to you. Welcome, one and all. My name is Terry Brett, and I have the great honor and privilege
Hello?
I have the great honor and privilege of
Hello?
Oh, Ken, is that you? Oh,
Hello?
Ken?
Hello?
Hello?
This is Bill.
Bill, Mr. McLeod?
Yes.
Hi, Terry Brett. How are you?
My pleasure to meet you, sir. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you very much for joining us today. Is Mr. Burke on the phone as well? Okay. Well, we'll wait for Mr. Burke to get plugged in, and I believe Mr. Gibbons is due here shortly as well. So, as I was saying, I want to thank all of the search committee members for being here today and for volunteering to be a part of this effort. This is a very, very exciting time, as we all know, for the college. I had a great privilege a few years ago of being a part of a search that brought Dr. Law here to town, and it was a wonderful time for the college. And when you think about the impact that a new president can have on the future of this institution and the years going forward, it's such an important decision, and your work here over these next couple of months is going to help guide that process. And I'm just so thankful and appreciative of the efforts that you're going to put forward for the college. I very much appreciate that. I want to just take a minute or two and maybe start with Dr. Mercadante and just very briefly, maybe just a self-introduction and your relationship with the college, and just a minute or two about yourself, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'm Rich Mercadante. I teach at the Clearwater and St. Petersburg Gibbs campuses. I teach communication studies and philosophy. I'm also the Faculty Senate President. Glad to be here.
Hello, my name is Alexis DeVoe. I am currently a student here at St. Petersburg College in my final semester. I'm also the president of the Clearwater Student Government Association on Clearwater campus. I was fortunate to start here at SPC 3.5 years ago as part of the early college program and matriculated into the bachelor program in both business administration and paralegal studies, and I hope to start law school, so it's my great privilege to be here. Thank you.
I'm Bob Fine. I'm a previous board member, so back in the service, and I'm the current president of Admiral Farragut Academy.
I'm Jean Trimble. I'm the current chair of the Career Service Employee Council. I also work in facilities custodial as a supervisor. I've been with the college for 13 years, and I think this is a great privilege and a responsibility being here.
Hello, my name is Jeanette Hunt. I'm the Director of Budget and Compliance. I've been with the college for a little over 5 years, and I'm honored to serve on this committee.
Hi, my name is Eric Gonzalez-Franco. I'm a student at the Gibbs campus. I'm currently pursuing an associate's degree in public policy and administration. I am a member of the Latinos United Club at the Gibbs campus, and I work as a peer advisor in the financial aid department at the Gibbs campus as well. And it's a pleasure to be here working with all you guys.
My name is Nathan Stone Cipher. I am currently the vice chair of St. Petersburg College Board of Trustees. I also graduated from St. Petersburg College many years ago now with an AA, and own a small business in St. Petersburg and was born and raised in St. Petersburg.
Hi, my name is Andrea Kelly. I am an academic chair on the Tarpon Springs campus with the College of Education. I teach on both the Clearwater and Tarpon Springs campus, and I've been with the college for about 10 years.
And I am Albert Farr. I'm the chair of the communications department at the St. Petersburg Gibbs campus. I've been with the college here for about 14 years, and really feel blessed to be here today. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. McLeod, Mr. McLeod, could you give a little self-introduction, please?
Yes, I will. My name is Bill McLeod. I serve on the St. Petersburg College Foundation Board of Directors. Also serve on the Alumni Association, St. Petersburg College. and is the president of the old Gibbs Junior College Alumni Association. I'm a 1973 graduate of St. Petersburg College in engineering technology.
Wonderful, thank you. Did Mr. Burke, was he able to join in? Have we heard from him? Perhaps not. Okay. Well, if he joins us at a later time, we'll make sure that that he tells us a little bit about his background. So thank you all very much. I want to turn it over for a minute or two to a person that actually has become a friend of mine from the last time we did this search 6 or 7 years ago. He has a pretty incredible background. Dr. Hockaday has been on both sides of the fence, if you will. He is certainly an academic. He has his doctorate in education from Duke University. He has served as a school superintendent. He has served as a community college president a couple of times. He's served as a chancellor. And most important for these purposes here today, he has served, or he has conducted, over 75 national searches for college presidents. So he brings to the table a great wealth of expertise and information, and I have a great sense of confidence that to know that he is going to be guiding our every move and helping us walk the path very carefully. So with that being said, Dr. Jeff Hockaday.
Thank you, Terry. You put a lot of pressure on people when you introduce them as you did me. The first thing I want to say to the committee members is my job is to make this as easy for you as I can. I track down things that you're concerned about. I respond to you individually anytime you call me. If you're struggling with something at 2 o'clock in the morning, call me. I will track it down and help you, and I may already know the answer. I say that first because I think that is really important to be a relationship between you and me. Summarized, it says, I want to make this as easy for you as I can. That's what I'm being paid to do. I could not say clearly to you how much it means to me to be back in St. Petersburg. I've thought often of you guys in the last 7 or 8 years. I have been pleased with the president that you have, although it's not my job to be pleased, but I kind of check on Bill to see how he does and how he's been doing, because it took me a long time to talk him out of Texas and out of Tallahassee to come here. I'm also tickled to see Terry Brett as chairing this committee, because one of the best chairs of boards I've ever worked with. All that goes to say St. Pete is special, and I'm really, really pleased that the board decided to let me come again. This will be fun. Let me tell you as a committee how this will go. I have 25 or 6 applications, and we haven't advertised yet. People who heard of it, heard that I was going to do the search, called me and said, I want to apply for the job. I would guess we would have 50 to 75 applications. Some of those will be dreamers, as you know they would be. My job, working with the committee chair, is to get those numbers as best we can to 20. Might be 22, it might be 18, just depends on where it falls off. We would feel comfortable that those are the top 20 candidates among whatever the number is. I will make 100 calls. I know Terry will make calls. We'll compare notes. When two things look some alike, we will take the one who somebody says the best words about. It will be a light reference checking. We don't want to upset somebody's current job by going too far when it may not be meaningful to them in the long run. All right, we have it at 20. Each of you on the board will have access electronically to those 20 applications. You'll have a code with which you can go into those applications, read them at your home, at your office, or leisurely, wherever you want to study. Those 20 people you will study. You will call me and ask me questions. You will say things like, I don't understand this, tell me what this means. You will ask a question like, this candidate has not been there but 2 years in current. Why is he or she applying at St. Pete? I'll track it down and find out, tell you. In a week or so after those are posted with the code for you to look at, we will meet. You will come to the meeting telling me who your best 10 candidates are, or telling the chair. It will be as simple as 20 names will be on a poster. You will go make 10 checks. Now, human resources people understand this, but it works. It truly works. We want the opinion of each of you equal to the opinion of any other one of you. You understand what I'm saying? You will come with your top 10 candidates. We will decide who the top 10 candidates are. We will then get a video on each of those 10 candidates so you can look at them answering the same 3 questions. Gives you another comparison. We'll come back together again. Now, all this will be led by the chair. I will be the handyman. We'll pick the best 5, or 4, or 3, whatever the board says in numbers. We might argue with the board and say we can't cut it to 5, it needs to be 6, and they'll agree to 6. Those 5 candidates will come to the campus for a 2-day visit. A system will be set up where each group that meets with each of these candidates can send a message to the Board of Trustees on the strengths and weaknesses that they see in these candidates. The Board of Trustees will get that information before it deliberates on the final person. It's soft, it's easy. A lot of the work will be done for you. You just have to participate. You have got to come to the meetings with the number of people that you rank in 10 and then in 5. Then you disappear. And it becomes the board's issue. The board will thank Terry and you and say goodbye. Then the college people will have influence. Community people will have influence on only the finalists. And then the board will meet and decide the finalists and try to negotiate a contract with the finalists. It's that simple. It's that carefully done. I'm available 24 hours a day. I will be here each time you meet and kind of lead you through the meeting. Any questions on process? Yes.
Said after it's voted to 10, then the candidates are presented with 3 questions apiece.
Yes. This committee. I will give you 10 questions. You will work out 3.
Dr. Hockaday, I have a question, and it is really relating to the timeline. Everybody got a copy of the timeline, I believe? And this is a question perhaps for you and maybe some staff. You mentioned that we would all have access with a code to review the applications online. In looking at the calendar, the next time that we meet on March 21st, where we're coming to that meeting with our 10 finalists, if we backtrack a few days to Friday the 17th, it says that notebooks will be distributed to the committee members. So can we get a clarification? Are we going to be looking at notebooks? Are we going to be on the computer? How's that going to work?
Let me get, you want to explain that?
Hi everybody, I'm Deborah Ford. I think most of you know me. Last time we did this search, we put together these notebooks that had the 20 final candidates that included their resumes, their applications, any letters of recommendation, and so forth. And some of the people found that it was a little easier to do this instead of going in and out of online all the time. So we're happy to give both, or one or the other, whatever you want.
Let's do both, because see, I can get to you technologically easier than I can do that.
Okay, great.
And some other people can also.
Good. Okay, we'll be happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. So the critical point is we'll have notebooks or access to the applications online, it looks like, on March the 17th. So we have a very small window for us to do our work individually. We've got a few days to narrow individually that list from 20 down to 10. So if I hear what you're saying, Dr. Hockaday, we are to come to that meeting on the 21st. We're not going to have a discussion. We're coming with the 10 that we individually want. Is that correct?
You have to, or the system would not work, because you don't, in this process, you do not want one member to influence another member, because you want the individual opinion of the members of your committee.
That's the only question I have.
I'll probably get killed for saying this, but Terry, this calendar will change through this process. There is just no way it will not happen. They'll come in, well, I started to say a snowstorm, but that's not appropriate. There'll come in a reason that you will need to delay 3 days or something. So let's not hurt ourselves with an absolute calendar. Because there is some flexibility in it. Now, my instructions have been that we would shoot at July 1, but everybody who said that then said, but it might be August 1. So there's some movement in there. If you get a feeling you're pushed too hard, then let's take the push off. We have plenty of time. Bill Ross says he will stay until we find a president. Again, my job is to make it as easy for you as I can. Mr. Board Members, good to see you.
Yes, does this committee attend these community forums?
I think it would be helpful if you're able to. These forums are a very critical part of the Board of Trustees developing the candidate profile. So the Board of Trustees will be conducting those meetings, but if any of the search committee meeting members are able to be there to listen to that input, I think it's very valuable. And I believe that, according to the calendar here, there's going to be 2 this time. We just had 1 last time, and so there's one up at Tarpon and 1 at Midtown, I believe. So those are on the calendar. Have those been confirmed? Not yet.
We were going to solidify the calendar today as best as we could.
Okay.
A lot of people weren't able to make what was tentatively set up on the draft.
Very good. So those dates, stay tuned on those. But if you're able to make them, I think it would be wonderful. It probably would help you as you're going through that thick notebook. So.
I'm not sure I can make every one of them, but I think we should at least have throughout the entire county.
Well, and that sounds fine to me. I believe that is probably a Board of Trustees decision and not this search committee, because I believe the Board of Trustees at their meeting when they appointed the search committee determined that they were going to have 2 community forums. So to add a 3rd, I don't know that that's within our purview to decide, but you could certainly talk to Dr. Law and perhaps poll the other board members. And I watched the film, and there was a lot of discussion about having 1 or 2, and I know that they landed on 2. And so whether they voted on it or not, I can't speak to that. But my concern is that I think that's a BOT decision.
It was discussed, and we settled on 2. I can't remember if there was an official vote, but we went back and forth and settled on 2.
And of course, also, Mr. Gibbons, as you know, that will require the attendance of the Board of Trustees to be at each one of those to conduct those meetings. So that's y'all's decision.
I think to keep this, like you said, moving along, we'll leave it at 2 and have a North and South County option.
And Mr. Gibbons, you came in a little bit late, but before you did, we had some little self-introductions. Why don't you, not that anybody in here doesn't know you, but maybe 2 minutes of who you are and your relation to the college.
On the Board of Trustees for the last, I don't know, I say 14, I'm not sure, somewhere between 10 and 14 years. And just happy to be a part of this process and to make sure that we, yet again, and that's one of the reasons that we have Dr. Hockaday and Mr. Brett as a part of this process, because the board has such a good experience with both of them on the last time. And I'm glad to see that we have a very diverse committee, and just ecstatic about having the opportunity to select a new president. Sad that we have a good one outgoing president, so that's who I am. I've been in this community most of my life. So, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hockaday, anything else from you? Any other questions right now for Dr. Hockaday? Okay. The next item on the agenda is the timeline, which, as we just heard, is going to be, there's going to be some pieces of this that are moving. But the most important things is that, including today, we're going to have 3 meetings. And I have no reason to believe that those are going to move at all. So, of course, we have today, and if you look at your calendar, the next time we meet is on March 21st. And we don't have a time here. Can we confirm, is this a good time for everybody to meet? Any objections to this time and location? So if we could go ahead and confirm that, Deborah, for 4 p.m. here at the Collaborative Labs on the 21st of March. And that will be for us to narrow our list from 20 down to 10, and to come to that meeting prepared to have your list of 10 ready. And then our last meeting will be on April the 7th, a Friday. And the time interval between March 21st and April the 7th will be the finalists producing the 10 finalists producing their videos, all of us having an opportunity to review those. And we'll be coming to that meeting on April the 7th with our list of 5. Is that correct? 3 to 5?
Whatever the board says. Sometimes the board will say give us 5. Sometimes they say 3 to 5.
Do we have some directive on that? Did the board make a decision on that?
We did not. I would tell you, I would prefer to see 3 instead of 5. I mean, I don't know. We can discuss that next board.
Well, we got a little time yet. So if we could get some direction from the board on that as to a number. So any questions on those meetings? So again, 3 meetings total for this committee, today being the first one. Any questions on those?
I have a question. The calendar,
Yes, sir.
The tentative calendar says the 6th. Are we doing 6th or the 7th?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at my calendar that says the 7th.
I believe Mr. Burke asked that we move it to the 6th.
I apologize. I'm using my calendar that I first got as opposed to the one that's here today. My apologies on that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that.
That's down to 5 meetings.
Yes. Okay. Okay, any questions on that?
Can you repeat the dates again, please?
Yes, sir. After today, the next time that we are meeting will be March the 21st, which is a Tuesday, 4 p.m. here at the Epicenter at the Collaborative Labs. And then our final meeting will be the same time and location on Thursday, April the 6th.
There was one other meeting that had been considered, which was on February the 21st. That would be after we took the input from the community forum and then be able to finalize the ad so that we could post the ad. What we had talked about was meeting right after the BOT meeting that we have that day. Since some of the people would already be in the room, but I don't know what you want to do.
And the purpose for this meeting is for us to approve the ad.
After using whatever input we get from the community forum to finalize the ad before we post the job.
Okay. And that's a search committee decision? Yeah. Dr. Hockaday?
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah. So
That's how it has to be.
the board really are the ones that determine the criteria. Yeah. So can we scratch that date then for the search committee? So we're still what we said originally, 3 meetings total, today being the first one. Thank you, Deborah. I want to touch on 2 items that is relative to all of this. Some of you are aware of this perhaps, but it's our sunshine laws as it relates to open and public meetings. As members of this search committee, we are prohibited by Florida law, Florida statute, to have a conversation about any of these deliberations, any of our thoughts, any of our feelings about candidates and the process. We are prohibited by law to have a conversation with another member of this search committee in private. You know, you're out to lunch, hey, what'd you think about this candidate? Can't do it. Cannot do it. You also are prohibited in talking with any members of the trustees, the Board of Trustees. So if you ran into Mr. Foster or Mr. Gibbons or Mr. Stonecipher somewhere, you cannot talk about this process. Very, very important. And so just keep that in the back of your mind. The other item I want to talk about just very briefly relates to questions or inquiries from the media. You may or may not get a call from someone in the media asking for your opinions about the search or whatever. And of course, you're welcome to speak to them if you'd like. I would encourage you, and I had a little conversation with Dr. Hockaday before this meeting and sought his advice also. I would encourage you to refrain from having a discussion with the media simply because we want our message and our process to have some consistency to it. And I might suggest instead that you refer any media inquiries to our Public Information Officer. Rita Farlow is here today, who perhaps can give you her contact information, and that might be a better way for you to handle any inquiries from the media. Of course, if you want to, you can certainly talk to them, but I think it might be nicer as a committee that we have one spokesperson for this effort, and all the general media inquiries regarding the college run through that office anywhere. So anyway, so that's just something for you to consider, and perhaps an ask on my behalf to honor that. I would appreciate that. Mr. Gibbons?
I think it would be preferable if you did adopt a resolution that reflected somebody who was your media guy.
I'd make that motion if somebody would second it.
What's the motion?
The motion is that all media calls go to Ms. Farlow, and that the chair of this committee, Mr. Brett, is the spokesperson to the media and responding to all of the media inquiries. That way we don't have 15 different people trying to talk to the media. It's just that would be making a nightmare out of it. But that's the motion.
Okay, we have a motion, and do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Can you, I'm on the phone. I wasn't privy to the motion that was put on the floor.
Yes, Mr. McLeod, there was a motion, second, and approval for committee members, search committee members, to refer all media inquiries either to myself as the chair of the search committee or to Ms. Farlow with the Public Information Office at the college.
I I vote yay.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Okay, so I kind of got off track a little bit on the presidential search timeline. Were there any questions at all regarding the timeline other than what we've spoke about? Yes, please.
So I just had a brief question. I know this is an earlier item. We scratched the 21st meeting. For those of us who do attend those public forums and we take note of what the public wants, how will we convey that to the Board of Trustees while still respecting the sunshine laws?
That's a great question.
So I would assume that if you take notes and you get it back to the president's office, he will make that known at our Board of Trustees meeting. And
Deborah Boyle.
Deborah Boyle, and then she will make that known. And we'll have a listing of all the information that you set forth and that you've heard, and we will be able to review it in our packets prior to the meeting.
Great. Great question. Thank you. And so, Deborah, back to those public meetings, you'll get those scheduled and notices out to the search committee members as soon as that's available? Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Any other questions regarding the timeline? Okay, thank you. So, now we have comments from committee members. Any comments? Any questions about anything?
Sorry, I'm the late one, so I'm trying to take over. Mr. Chair, I had it brought to my attention, and I thought it was a very good idea, that due to the fact that we are trying to keep Dr. Law's office separate from the process, and while Deborah Boyle will do a good job in terms of helping us, we probably need a layer to insulate us and to make sure that the information that this committee as well as the board asks for going forward, it has a set of eyes in between it. And that's just to with the sunshine law, we can't talk to each other. And so I would ask is that would you consider, Mr. Chair, having Dr. Tom Furlong as that set of eyes when we ask for, so say Dr. Mercadante asks for some information, Ms. Boyle will compile that information, but let Dr. Furlong look through that information to see if it answers that question and get us to the information that we actually need. And that is because when you talk about the history of community colleges, I don't think there's a question you could ask Dr. Furlong that he can answer, number one. And number two, there are going to be times where we're going to have to compile information fairly quickly to get questions answered. And I would see that coming from anybody on this committee. So I would ask that you consider that moving forward.
Just for clarity, for my own sake and the committee members, give me a hypothetical.
A hypothetical could be, what has been the salary of the last three presidents, right? Someone could assume that Dr. Law or whoever would give us information that would make it higher or lower or whatever. We need a set of eyes in between that to say, here's what here's what we've done in the past, right? Somebody that could evaluate that and give us, as well as Mr. Lang. I would say both of them, because I'm going to tell you, this is a very open process, and it could end up being legal, and I would take both of those folks. I think we need to just have a set of eyes in between any information that we ask for as a committee to make a good decision, that we have a separate set of eyes to look at that.
Okay. Would you like to put that into a motion?
I make the motion that as a liaison to the board, we have Tom Furlong and Joe Lang.
And we have a second from Dr. Mercadante. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm not trying to make the process any longer, but I do want to be careful, Dr. Hockaday. As you well know, you just want to make sure we got insulate ourselves from the college a little bit.
Any other questions? Other questions? Mr. McLeod, you've been very patient on the phone. Any questions from you, sir?
None at this time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm just reviewing. This is Dr. Farr. I am actually reviewing my notes. And Dr. Hockaday, you said that the committee would get it down to 20 and then to the 10. No. Okay.
I said that Mr. Brett and I would get it down to 20.
So we don't see all the applications.
You could, but you would not be responsible. We will take out the dreamers. They're not. Just get 70 to 80, 90 applications because it's been cold in Minnesota.
Thank you. Thank you for clarification.
But I will kind of lead taking them down because I will know most of them. But he is a safety valve. You know, I can make a mistake on somebody that you guys really, really, really like who doesn't have 3 PhDs, just 1. And I might take out because there's some people who look like that but are a little stronger. But might be someone in time. And he would know that.
Understand. Thank you.
Other questions? You know, I was thinking recently about the search committee, and I've had this opinion for a long time that the Board of Trustees, they're really the ones that get to make the decision, right? They really are. And then I thought about this, and I thought, but guess what? They can only pick from the names we give them. And so really, the power lies here. And so that's a big, good kind of power. I think that's a great responsibility for us because they're going to pick the finalists, and they'll do a good job. But you got to pick from what we give you. And so we got to do our homework and do the right thing. So, anything else from you, Dr. Hockaday?
No, except just to follow up on what you said.
Get that mic. I don't think Mr. McLeod can hear us without it.
It's too soft. Terry, from what I am feeling now, today, without the job being advertised, of course, I start work as soon as you hire me. And as soon as people find out who the consultant is, they start working the consultant also. But from what I see, this could be the strongest pool I've ever seen. Because at this point it is. This committee's got the toughest job I believe I've seen in 75 searches. Actually, it's 105.
You need to update your resume then.
It's going to be tough.
Tough in a good way. We're going to have great candidates.
Yeah. St. Pete's a good place.
Okay, well, I think we're about to the end. Yes, Deborah.
We actually need to set the dates for the community forums, everybody's calendar to make sure. I know we can't get all 13 there, but maybe we can get the majority. A couple people said that they couldn't make those, so we haven't officially scheduled them yet.
How do you propose we do this? Do we want to just start throwing some dates out? I mean, how much time do you need to advertise?
We need 7 days.
So we have to pick dates that are 8, 9 days out from today? Is this something, Deborah, that, again, Mr. Foster's the chair of the board. Is this something that we should probably speak to him about before we speak to the committee, since he's going to be running those meetings?
I can send it out by email if you prefer.
I think it might be better if we get dates that we know Mr. Foster is going to be available for, since he's the chairman of the board, and then maybe a few options there that we can look at. I think that might work better. Okay, anything else? Dr. Furlong. You want to come up and grab a mic?
Just because of I didn't want to get in the middle of everybody. Just a thought, Jeff, that when they all bring their 10 back in, they won't all be the same 10. And this is the organizational session. I just thought maybe we'd want to be on the record that those that are alike, I'm assuming, are in. The 3 or 4 that are different, there has to be a discussion here and a vote. Is that the process that Jeff, you have in mind? That's why I wanted a check. Okay.
That's not the way it works. You have got to protect the input of each member on the committee, as one is as important as another. So each time you come in reducing the list, the total list, first time 20 names will be on the board. Each of you will go check your 10. And we'll total it and see how it falls out. Then there can be some discussion at that point. If it falls off the table at 10, fine. If it falls off the table at 12, fine. But it has to be the notions of the people on this committee only. Now, if you want me to make tracks for you, find information for you that doesn't show up in the application, like a question, this person's been here in that last job only 2 years, please find out why they're applying here. I will do it, because I will know who to call to do that. And that, of course, will save you time. But please know that every person on this committee has the same input. It won't work any other way in this. You simply count the checks, knowing that it doesn't have to be exactly 10, could be 11, could be 9. If they're bunched up at the bottom, say. And when you come back with the 5, it is the same thing. The notion of a student is equal to the notion of the committee chair, is what I'm saying. It will not work otherwise. And it works perfectly this way. I will not let you make a mistake. Like I know something that you don't know, I will tell you. I might just say, you don't want to go there, and you will know what that means. Way, way, way back, there was a problem that might affect this. You see, you do not have to compromise in a president at St. Pete. You can get the best people in the world. It's not like a college in middle of somewhere, a small one, where you have to struggle to find a president. You don't have that worry. If I think you're going in the wrong direction, I'll whisper in your ear and tell you why.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Thank you all very much for being with us today and for your time and dedication to be a part of this process. I very much appreciate it. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McLeod.
Thank you.